everyone. Today I'm going to just be talking about multiculturalism in education. Starting off by reflecting on my own K through 12 background. Multiculturalism didn't really exist when I was in K through 8th grade, I would say. Coming from South Lancaster Area High School, predominantly white, the importance of multiculturalism was never portrayed to students in the classroom. I didn't have a minority student in one of my classes until probably 10th grade. And then, of course, once I got into high school, the only thing that we really had was world cultures. And in world cultures, I remember just being so fascinated by that class because here I was kind of being deprived from multiculturalism. And this class was based on learning the different cultures around the world. One of my favorite things that we did in that class was The Amazing Race. And The Amazing Race is where students choose a different country and they learn about the country's culture, and they present to students, and you try different foods from the different cultures. You can do like a game or activity from that culture, and that project in itself, sadly, is where I learned the majority of what I learned during high school or during my K through 12 experience about multiculturalism. Thankfully, I was on the Multicultural Advisory Council at Lock Haven University, and I was able to bring different minority groups together, but also get the majority students, the white students, out to these events to learn about the different cultures. And that takes me into what I believe multiculturalism looks like in an educational setting today. I think that multiculturalism is being able to have the opportunity to explore different cultures and being able to learn about the different opinions and lifestyles of the people of our world. You know, coming from a small town, you get so used to just hearing those ideas and the culture around you that you aren't really prepared for the world outside of your little town. And I think that our educational settings need to be setting our students up for the future. They aren't going to always be working with white people. They need to learn earlier rather than later about the different ideas that people hold and the different beliefs that people hold and the different ways that people go about things due to their culture. And I don't think that multiculturalism is only important for the students of these schools, but it's also important for the educators in these schools. They need to continue to explore cultures and opinions and lifestyles. And whether they do that in their personal lives or their professional lives, I think it's key to being a successful educator. The only thing I would add to that is I think that average person thinks of multiculturalism, they think about diversity trainings. And diversity trainings are great and everything, but I think that's just, a start. There needs to be more programs in our elementary, middle, and high schools. You see different things in college with different cuisines from different cultures. I think that needs to start earlier. I know food doesn't seem like a big deal, but I think that the majority of people really like food, and if a food from a different culture can bring people together, that's just another stepping stone into that individual wanting to learn more about that culture. I think that there should be clubs like at the high school level based on different cultures, but I also believe that it's as simple as just having a multiculturalism circle where you kind of come and learn about different topics of debate revolving around different cultures. I think that although it is important to have information coming from the source itself, in central Pennsylvania, a lot of our schools are predominantly white. So just because they are doesn't mean that we shouldn't be worrying about multiculturalism. Multiculturalism shouldn't exist just in our inner cities of Pennsylvania. It should be existing in every town, borough, whatever in Pennsylvania. One of the biggest defining moments in my life that impacted the way I see and experience multiculturalism is when I came out. Identifying as part of the LGBT community, it wasn't just about me. It was and still is about all the individuals that identify within the LGBT community. I personally don't know what it's like to walk a campus as a queer person of color. And that's something I will never know, but big eye-openers during my undergrad career was when I was the president of the Gender and Sexuality Alliance, and I knew that there were minority students on campus that identified in the LGBT community, but our group was all white students. And I can understand why it was all white students. Being a part of the LGBT community, especially in the Black community, is definitely looked down upon, and which is probably the main reason why we didn't have minority students in our club, but that didn't stop me. I knew it wasn't the only reason. I knew as the president that I had to ensure that I was creating a space for not only white LGBT students, but for LGBT students in any ethnic group. So I began going to the Black Student Union meetings. I was the only white person there, and putting myself in that uncomfortable situation really opened my eyes to the importance of multiculturalism. I learned so much just by being around those individuals in that setting. And, you know, we realized at the end of the day, we're both out here fighting some of the same things. Not everything's the same, but we all have the end goal. And that's to stop discrimination and have human rights. And really, that is what really opened my eyes to the importance of multiculturalism. And it's sad that it took me getting to high school to realize the importance of multiculturalism. But I feel that my K through 12 setting didn't really show me the importance. And living in a small town, I didn't see the importance. And that just takes me back to why it's so important to have multiculturalism programming trainings in elementary, middle, and high schools. A student should be prepared or should know a little bit about multiculturalism before they go out and roam in the world. So yeah, multiculturalism, I feel, is key in our educational setting.